So what can we call the products that
Let's see.
that we're going to see?
A few categories of products. So the first one and most common is flower. Flower or buds or weed. Whatever you
that
know.
is what you know. That is what you've seen. That's what's on my shirt. Let's grow some trees. It is the weed flower. It is what you put in a pipe. You roll in a joint. You put in a bong, arinos, whatever you'd like. That is what you will smoke.
Apparently,
this
is interesting. Apparently, under Ohio medical cannabis laws, that there is no combustible flower. So this will be the first time combustible flower will be available.
Oh my gosh.
In Ohio. That's
Ohioans. You lucky dogs. You're going to get to experience flower, a lot of you, for the first, that we know of on the record, the first time. Oh, that's I wish I was there for your face. Every one of you.
Everyone.
I do. That's great. That's great. I didn't know that apparently I didn't know a lot of things about this, but I did not know that they weren't allowed to combust flower under the medical program. So that's fucking sick nasty. Now you go get your flower. Go get your flower. Ask all of the questions. Find out all of the things about flower because it's the best. I'm so excited. And then what's next? What else can they use?
Let's see. The next sort of wildly popular way to consume cannabis is vaporizing. So you're going to have vaporizers, not vapes.
You know what a vape is. It is also used to vaporize nicotine. This will not have any of that in there. You will probably have many choices of vaporizers in front of you. This is something you feel very free to discuss with your bud tender. Honestly, I feel like a lot of my time as a bud tender was spent talking about vapes.
Yeah, flower is still number one, but barely hanging on. Vape is very close.
It's a half and half thing. I shouldn't say
but
mostly,
no,
but
seriously,
the first customer of the day was probably looking for.
Everybody that comes in the morning wants vapes.
Yes, yeah, or a gram or something. But yeah, vaporizing is very common. Worth trying. Portable, discreet, and usually higher concentrates. So just ask for what you think you want. Start low. Don't overwhelm yourself, and see what your options are.
Oh yeah, like you said, the vapes test really high.
Mm-hmm.
70 to 90% THC.
So if this is your first time, smoking weed, and you want to try a vape, maybe ease into it.
Yeah, take 1 or 2 puffs.
Yeah.
See how you feel.
And that's what's great about the Ben and Jerry's is that you can take a hit, put it down, not touch it that's how I use my vape. Now I've been a little bit oral fixation with it, but I would buy a vape and have it forever. So long it would explode in my freaking car because I would just transfer it around, take one hit, and be kind of high from it, and that would kind of carry me over when I was out and I couldn't smoke a joint or whatever. So that's how I feel like you want to dip your toe into vaping. Have it as a sometimes food, and then if you like it, work your way up so you don't blast yourself into oblivion with one hit of the Benjamin, and know that those shits the smoke comes out fast. In all vapes.
Yes. Yeah.
Every single vape, the smoke comes out fast. Just remember that. Have some water nearby. You've seen the videos, I'm sure. So what's the next? The
next wildly popular way to consume cannabis is in edible form.
You've probably heard of this too. Very old way to consume weed.
Everybody's. We always talked about the brownie.
Yep.
The old space cake. Yep. Well, cannabis is in every single food you could possibly think of.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, the most common are gummies, chocolates. There's cookies. You've got savory treats
gummies
now.
It's funny. Brownies were always
that was
the go-to. Or brownies and cookies. Even in the heyday. It was always something sweet like that.
Yeah.
Now that you think about it, it is so gummies. All gummies. It's nothing. Well, everything else. I feel like brownies and cookies are way second to.
Yeah, chocolate and cookies are further down, but gummies, there's like
They
so
dominate.
many different gummies.
Yeah, so you'll probably find a lot of gummies. If you're used to the traditional brownie, I'm not sure how they're doing it there. I'm sure we can find out, but. For us, we had to dose. We had to start dosages. It had to be 10 milligrams. That has changed. I just took a 50 milligram RSO tab. That should be hitting me, shouldn't it?
Those metabolize a little bit slower than your regular
Cool.
so like towards the end of the show,
All right.
you'll be
hungry.
feeling it.
Okay, great. So I just so those rules are we'll see what happens with you guys, but you'll probably find a gummy that has 10 milligrams in it or less, and you can dose it out that way for yourself so that you know how much you're intaking. And I think that that's probably a good idea if you're just dipping your toesies into weed.
Yeah, start slow. Start with
always slow.
Yeah, you can't turn it off if you eat that whole bag.
And I'll tell you, you will be okay. I promise you.
True.
Everybody is always okay, unless you have an adverse effect. Then take note of that and adjust. But always low and slow, always. And it may not jive with you when you take an edible for the first time. You may feel a little like it was a boat you couldn't control or something. Don't let that turn you off completely. Give it a break. Because I really believe in edibles for sleep and pain. I really, really do. Like, I am a big advocate of them for sleep and pain. And I know that when you take even a 1-to-1, which is THC to CBDs, you'll probably find some CBD products in your travels. Like, I know the first time taking an edible is always a journey, even if it's 5 milligrams. 10 milligrams is a lot if you don't take edibles. It's a lot. So take half of that. Take a bite. You will feel something. If you really don't ever smoke or take edibles, half of 5 milligrams you'll experience relief, and you can work your tolerance up from there.
At the same time, you may have been consuming edibles from wherever you got edibles before they were legal in Ohio. So with that being said, you don't necessarily know the dosage. So a lot of times people come in and they think that their trap gummy, they were eating 50 milligrams at a time.
Right. Yeah.
And you don't really know. It may or may not have been 50 milligrams.
Right.
So you can trust your dosage on your legal edibles.
For sure. And just don't assume you can take more than I still have to I still have to remember that. Like, I'll still take too many edibles and be like, damn, I wish I didn't do that. Like, it literally happens to everybody. So don't feel bad or don't feel embarrassed. Please don't feel embarrassed if you get too high the first time you take edibles. I'm begging you, because there's nothing to be embarrassed about at all. Your body is adjusting and relief will come. And maybe you'll figure out it's not for you. But, like, for our purposes, for our show, for our advocacy, I say give it a whirl and give it a chance. If it doesn't work the first time, breathe, drink some water, take a few days, maybe take a smaller little nibby, like for sleep, like that and some melatonin, like, or that and some CBN if you can find it. Like, oh yes, like those sorts of supplemental ways to use weed, I think, is a really good way to like get into it. And then you'll find that you're like, oh well, maybe I can smoke a joint, or have a puff of a joint, or maybe I could take another hit of the Benjamin and not feel like I'm going to pass out. Like, your body will, your natural endocannabinoid system will begin to, maybe the RSO is kicking in.
Oh,
what's the next one?
The next one is tinctures.
What's a tincture?
Tincture is, they're more traditional medicines, a liquid that you would have put underneath your tongue.
You've seen a tincture before.
Usually, I think at this point, we used to have them. It was cannabis, and it was in high testing alcohol.
Yes,
was the vessel, but I believe now it's more than likely your tinctures are going to be MCT oil or coconut oil based.
Unless it's like for your pets, and then maybe one day you'll get a fish oil one that reeks of fish.
Or olive oil.
Yes, olive oil. It's an oil based thing now. MCT oil is really the most common one. TS is right. That you'll see, very digestible. You'll take a cannabis tincture, much like you'll take an edible. And tinctures work like traditional tinctures. They're absorbed in a quick way in your mouth, and you let them do their thing. Very medicinal qualities. Very like, you need to like maybe take a breath, take a chill, ground yourself, take a little bit of tincture. It hits kind of immediately, and you're like, okay, I can like do this thing that I didn't want to do, or whatever. That's what I use them for. Tinctures are very mental health for me.
Tinctures are, immediate relief, almost as fast as combustible or smoking cannabis.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing, slow and low. Please. I once overdid it on a tincture and was like high for like 6 days.
You can add tinctures to your smoothies or to
very easy to add to food.
Cup of tea.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love putting tinctures in my tea. Love. If it's oil, it's gonna get oily, but it's awesome. It's the best to drink your tea with a tincture. So what's next?
Let's see. Topicals, lotions, massage oils, muscle salves.
Yes. So you'll hopefully see some topicals. They're usually CBD rich. They're for pain. They work. Try them. If you will not feel the psychoactive effect that ingesting weed gives you.
It's true. Even if there's THC in your topicals, you're not going to get high.
No.
You're going to feel relief in your muscles.
And that will make you feel different, but you putting a topical CBD on will not make you feel high. It will not.
Relief is...
You know what I saw on TikTok? People were putting RSO in their belly button.
I saw that too.
Is that a thing?
I was it probably is. I saw it. Give it a shot. I'll grab one of those syringes tomorrow.
I'm interested. Yes, please.
We'll put RSO in our belly buttons and go live. See what happens.
We've done weirder things. So what's the last one that people can expect?
Concentrates, waxes, diamonds, maybe shatter.
Yes, these are all extractions.
Live resin, live rosin.
This is kind of weed, 201 concentrates. I feel like it's like not entry level, because concentrates you're gonna have to know how to smoke them. You may have a device or an apparatus that you already have or something, and that'll be cool. But it is a learning curve for concentrates, so don't feel overwhelmed by concentrates. But if you're curious, definitely dabble and have your bud tender get you set up and make sure you have everything you need. You probably won't be able to get your butane there if you want to start traditionally or your, stuff of that nature. But more often than not, a lot of dispensaries are carrying Puffcos, and any smoke shop will have that available to you. So if you wanna go into concentrates, if this is like your beginning time, don't be afraid. But dabbing is it's heavyweight. It's big lifting.
It is. It's an advanced move. Ohio. Okay, so Ohio actually is allowing concentrates.
Yeah.
So that's great. There's a lot of places where you can't get concentrates, so you could still get legal cannabis.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Ohio's jumping right in.
They are, and they're gonna do the right thing. Do you see anything about equity? Just curious.
I don't think we have mentioned equity at all regarding Ohio cannabis.
They are donating percentages to different substance abuse and addiction funds, mental health and addiction services. That is where some of the taxes will go. The Cannabis Social Equity and Jobs Fund. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. Ohio.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
There it is. Ohio. Social equity. Thank you, Ohio.
We're so happy for you. We love you. We're going to take a break. Go for it.
Oh, there's some weird stuff as far as like measurements of how you're going to buy your cannabis.
Do you want to talk about that? Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
We're not going to take a break. We're going to take a break in 1 second.
Okay. So
this is important.
Traditionally, in the traditional market and every other market I've ever been to, cannabis comes in like gram or eighth, which is 3.5 grams, or quarters, which is 7 grams, or full ounces, 28 and a half grams. Traditionally, but in the Ohio medicinal market, they sold tenths, which is 2.8 grams, and 2/10, which is 5.6 grams. And they're not really sure if they're going to stick with those odd measurements.
Well, I don't know why that is. I mean, whatever. 2.8 seems... I wonder if they did like research and they were like, this is what the average consumer... Like, because... Oh, that just fucks with my head. I mean, we learn... Like, it also goes back to like street math. Like, this is how I know my...
Your metric
ABCs.
system?
Yeah, my metric system is weed. And so that's fine, but I feel like it's just 5.6. Hey, can I get a 5.6?
Oh, man. If somebody comes in and asks me for a 5.6...
What do you even call it?
It's well, it was an eighth because it was actually an eighth of an ounce.
Ounce.
Okay, so can I get a tenth?
A tenth.
2/10?
2/10.
Oh, man. I don't even know who came up with that.
Okay, like definitely making it more difficult than